Welcome back, everybody. It is a Memorial Day holiday weekend. I hope everyone's had great plans to go out and have some fun, but we're about to make it fun for you. Matt Roth, former IU player and now head basketball coach at Blackhawk Christian High School, joins us. How are you, sir? Coach?
We're doing well. Glad to be on the show with you this morning.
Appreciate having you. We chatted here and there over the years, but you head coach, you're one of only two, I think, former IU players that are currently a head coach in Indiana high school basketball. Sharon Wilkerson, the other, who will join us next. But I'm like, now that I think about it, I would probably thought that number would be higher. But you pointed out there are a ton of managers that are coaches around the state.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's you saying there's only two. That seems surprising to me, but I haven't done my homework on that. But
Me either.
I would have thought that
It's
number would have been higher.
Yeah, me too. But you mentioned the managers in the break, and I was talking about you want to find a success story. Go follow any former IU basketball manager. They're going to be doing something, whether it's becoming a head coach in the NBA or on the front office guy. It's nuts. But yeah, it's crazy. But let's talk about Matt Roth, and now you're taking over the reins of a school that's had some success too. So it's not like you're stepping into a bad place. That's got to be exciting for you to have that kind of a foundation for your first job.
Yeah, no, it's a great spot. The administration, the support staff there at the school is top notch. From day one of interviewing, it seemed like all the things were aligning to it being a great opportunity. And fortunately, the interview process went smooth and things kind of aligned there. But I can't wait to get started. I know our athletic director Joel Cotton's as good as they get, and I know he's working with me on making sure we build out our schedule and finalize all the things we need to here. Kind of being late into the spring, get our summer stuff all programmed. So there's no shortage of help there, and that's awesome. Stepping into it kind of as the first head coaching job of my career. So very excited and thankful to have a good support staff there.
What is your ultimate coaching goal? Do you have one, or is you just letting that play out?
Well, I think just let it play out. I feel Fort Wayne is home. My wife is from the Fort Wayne area. Our kids are heavily ingrained in the school systems here. At going to be a second grader and then kindergarten, preschool on down, and it's just a place that feels like home. So I don't, envision moving all over the place. Blackhawk is a great place to raise a family. It's a great place for kids to go to school. They've got a unbelievable education system there in the Fort Wayne area. The athletics are as competitive as anywhere in the state, especially being a small school. One of the things that Mark, prior to me being there, he always would play anybody, anywhere. And so our schedule is not a traditional 1 or 2A schedule. And so with that, creates challenges, but also great opportunities. So I'm very excited to get started there. And I would love to have a nice long career there, being able to mentor and watch these boys continue to grow and ultimately become young men here in the next few years.
Becoming a high school head coach brings a lot of other things too. When you come to the head guy, at least one thing is not recruiting, but scheduling. You mentioned scheduling. You have to now learn how to be a scheduler, which you talked about, which I know you already have experience doing that. But that's just one of the other things that a head coach has to do, and to create a schedule that is beneficial for their team, however that is. And you just mentioned you guys don't play the traditional schedule. You play a hard road, man. You guys play up and play a challenging schedule, which obviously is meant to make your team better and to be ready at the end of the season for those guys that you'll be playing that weren't doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a challenge in itself, but the school in the past has done a great job of putting that challenging schedule together. And it makes it fun, even being at a small school, the kids in the summer, they play together. They all know each other. The basketball community here in Northeast Indiana is tight, just like all the other regions of the state. So they all know each other. They play against each other. So it makes for some really fun, and almost every night being kind of a rivalry, you know, high stakes game, because they all know each other from the summer and playing AAU and growing up playing travel ball together. So it's something I look forward to being able to continue to build on, and I'll feel good when we iron out the last couple of kinks to make sure we have a full schedule for the year. But it's definitely something I'm grateful to have an AD who has been through it and knows kind of what to expect. It can help navigate some of those decisions here to make sure we get our schedule filled up.
Blackhawk Christian should lead I think everyone's going to expect them to lead the state in 3-point shooting next year. Not that there's any pressure on that or anything, but I think everyone's going to expect it no matter where you are. They're going to be great, because when people will be talking about IU's woes with shooting, there's very few names that come up all the time. Jordan Hulls is a name that comes up, but your name always comes up as well as someone they could certainly use. Teaching shooting, that kind of shooting, how hard is that for guys that when you see guys that just aren't really mechanically doing it how you'd like? How hard is it to physically change a guy's shot?
Well, it's one of the most difficult things you can try and do. Not only because of how much goes into a good jump shot, but then also the older people get, the less they want to spend time on just working on one or two things. And so often in shooting, it's one or two basic fundamental things that if you can iron those out over the course of several months, the younger they are, the quicker you can change things and adjust, because they don't have the muscle memory and the bad habits yet. And so it's a tricky situation. How much do you try and bite off versus how much do you just encourage them to get in the gym, put in reps, and ultimately you can pull several guys from the NBA whose shots would be quote unquote non-traditional, but they do go in. And so getting them to understand the work ethic that it takes to be a good shooter. If you can get them to understand that, it's easier to tweak one or two things in the mechanics of the shot. I try and keep it simple. Try and keep it fun. It's not, the best shooters in the world in the NBA are, shooting in the mid 40s percentage wise on the high end. The league average has been, I think, somewhere around 37 to 39 over the last decade, which is not a great number when you start talking percentages. So you've got to find a way for these guys and even the girls that I've worked with as a trainer over the years. You've got to find a way to make it fun. And the easiest way to do that is get them in the gym and getting shots up. And the more they see the ball go in, the more they want to keep working.
And for high schoolers, you have an opportunity to do that when they're younger. When they get to college, and like, let's say for IU, for example, who has had just hell shooting the ball over the last 5 years from distance. So it's not been one guy. And the fans are like, they got to practice shooting free throws. It's like, it's not that. That's mental. But even with the 3-point shooting, what can be done at that level, at the collegiate level, for a team like Indiana, that you got guys that they can, but they're just not successfully shooting the ball?
Yeah, it's hard. There's a lot of things that go into the game. There's a lot of pressure at that level. So the mental game, the mental side of things becomes even more important, just in terms of what they're doing, building good habits. The repetition, I've seen it firsthand. I know they're getting shots up. I know they're working at it. But it's just at that state in the game for them, they can see it going in practice over and over. But, when it starts going in front of 17,000 consistently, that's the ultimate boost to that confidence to continue to shoot. And, I think they've put a focus on it. I know Coach Woodson wants guys that can make that jump shot. And so I think as they continue to bring it in and just work on, instilling a culture of making shots, I think as a team, you'll see a collective rise in their average. Certainly, I hope so. It's easier on the eyes when those jump shots go in, when those free throws go in. It's easier on the heart. So,
well, if it doesn't, we can blame Jordan Hulls. He's on staff now.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we would not want to do that. You mentioned Coach Woodson was with them the other night down at Huber's, but you obviously had a chance to talk to him. Have you been down to Bloomington since he's taken the job? How's that going?
Yeah, we got to see him. I came down for the Pigs golf outing just a few weeks ago, and so I got to talk to him a little bit there. We did not make it down last year, just with, I think there were 3 games we attempted to come to, and between either my wife, myself, or the kids, we were sick or something was going on, and so we had to stay home last minute. Cancellations on getting down there, but I know we're excited to get back to Bloomington. We're bringing the kids down just this summer for a weekend just to kind of be in Bloomington. I know Jordan will be back home with his family, so get the kids together, let them kind of run around, probably crash JC's house one of those days, and just try and have a good weekend in Bloomington. It's been with COVID, with everything that went on, it's just been hard to get down there and feel comfortable. And, the last thing you want to do is travel when you've got a sick kid or somebody who's on the mend from being ill. You just don't know. In today's world, it's just better to play it safe.
Absolutely. Joni Halls will take good care of you guys when you're there for certain. But yeah, that'll be great. Jordan Hull's coming home. As you said, I saw last night, I think they have a game today. They're in the playoffs. So when he gets back is according to how far they go in the playoffs right now. But yeah, having you two guys on staff. Speaking of that, any thoughts of collegiate coaching one day? I know we talked about it earlier, letting it play out, but just, pie in the sky, thinking away. I know you mentioned the Fort Wayne is home, but something like Jordan is doing, although he's from Bloomington, but joining the IU staff. Ever thoughts of moving to the collegiate when you're thinking about your long-term future?
Yeah, I mean, there's always thoughts of what's next, what's on the docket for the future. But I've just found in my since being here, now almost 10 years. It's good to have those things, put them on a back burner, but if you just put it as a focus point, you get distracted from the current. And so currently, I feel real confident in what we're doing here. Really excited about the group of boys I'm going to have at Blackhawk. And what's on, what opportunities might be there in the future. It's hard to predict, hard to, say what that looks like. So, if the right situation came along, I think, as a family, we'd have to talk through that. But I think, both Lindsay, my wife, and I would just have such a focus on being present in the current situation. We've got a young family, 3 kids that are hyperactive in any sport, any activity they can be in. And so it's best for us to stay grounded in the moment and be present with them. So, I'm sure I could go down that alley of what that could look like, but that's not an important pressing thing for us. That's not one of our priorities as a family. So if that came about somehow, some way, that'd be a great opportunity to have to navigate through, but not something that I'm going to stress over or lose sleep on.
Your current players have to be pretty exciting about the opportunity of getting to play for you. I'm sure that they're well aware of your collegiate exploits and everything that you've done. That has to give them a continued ray of excitement. They were going from a good coach, and now they know that they have another one coming in.
Yeah, no, there's definitely an excitement level with the boys, with the kids coming into the program, even from the middle school level. They've been blessed to have an unbelievable coach who, ultimately, lost his battle with cancer here very recently. But there's a definite excitement and I think an eagerness from the boys to be able to get back in the gym and get back to work and spend time, playing a game that they all love.
And you mentioned that coach passing. How tough was that for the community, for the program, the school?
Oh, it's I couldn't even put it into words of how difficult, how much he meant to that program, to the community there at Blackhawk. His personality and his love for the Lord and the love for the kids that were at the school. it's unmatched. And so it affected kids from the pre-K level all the way up through kids he coached, 10, 12 years ago. And so it was just a matter of, being present and being there for support for the kids. I was fortunate to be able to call Mark a friend, but also, a colleague, having worked with him as an assistant for 3 years. And so it was a difficult process, but it was also a process that, he was able to talk through over the course of this last year in great detail with a lot of the kids. And they had a really good understanding of what he had been going through. So it was certainly a difficult process. But again, one that, going back to that support staff and the admin team that's at Blackhawk, for me coming into that environment and that situation, I felt like, the support for those kids and the community was as good as you can imagine, given all the circumstances. So, I'm excited, having been able to talk to Mark, just to try and be able to continue building on some of those foundational things that he had instilled in that program. They do a ton of great things, and I'm excited to be able to kind of carry that torch and be able to continue on, leading the correct way and doing the best we can for that school to be a light in the community.
Well, they're certainly fortunate to have you. The kids are fortunate to have you, and we are fortunate to have you, Matt Roth, and I cannot thank you enough. And congratulations again. Look forward to following you and keeping up with you, and hopefully see you soon. Jordan Hall's golf outing is on the 23rd, so hopefully you can get away with that. But cannot thank you enough for coming on with us today, man. Appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. Appreciate you making time for me, and hope to be back on the show here soon.